It's now February. Dan Facchini, and here we are again, my friend. How are you?
Good, John. How are you doing?
Good. I'm going to be seeing you a lot over the next week or so.
You are.
Because we got a big summit together next Thursday. I'm excited about this.
Yes. Next Thursday, February 26th at College of DuPage, our second annual Midwest Innovation and Entrepreneurship Summit. So it's a day full of business development and amazing guest speakers. The theme is AI, quantum, and the future of work.
I love that.
So we're going to have some excellent guest speakers from Intel, Lenovo, Workday. Emily Easton from the Chicago Quantum Exchange is presenting. It'll be a fantastic day.
And I get to host the whole thing. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You put me on with some really smart people. That really elevates me, Dan. I do appreciate that.
You navigate the waters perfectly. It's fantastic.
Try to. And you have a lot of business owners that are going to be there, right?
Yeah. We already we have 600 people coming with 100 on a wait list. So it'll be amazing attendance. It'll be a great day.
How many of those people are coming for me? Maybe one or two? My mom, can she come? That's it. Everyone else coming for the
Hopefully
great guests.
It's not just the waitlisted people.
No, it'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that next Thursday. Is there room for more people or no? Any other business owners?
Get on the wait list because if we have the opportunity, you never know what happens. We'll see what we can do.
Absolutely. InnovationDuPage.org for all of that. You guys have recently been on a nice green energy kick, bringing in businesses that are either benefiting from you guys have benefited from a grant from Illinois, and you're helping these businesses get started. And I'm glad today you're reminding us that you also have a lot of, we'll call them Main Street businesses, retail businesses,
yes, that
are getting a leg up with Innovation DuPage.
Yeah, when we look at it, we're 50% tech and 50% Main Street businesses. So that's the coffee shop, that's the board game company, that's the hot sauce company, all those companies we've had here on your show. And today we have Melissa for another one.
Melissa Carter, Kameo Vintage Style. Kameo Vintage. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Hi, how are you? I usually say hey, they, hey.
Hey, they, hey?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, why not?
That works for me. We'll do that. Whatever you want to do, Melissa. When I hear vintage, I think I'm going to walk into a store. Nothing against vintage stores.
Of course.
I love them. You can find interesting things, and there's just racks and racks and racks, and you're doing a lot of searching through it.
Right.
What Kameo Vintage is you curate a lot of collections from some gently used clothes. And
yes.
You wouldn't know that it was gently worn or anything. It's sustainable, but it's chic, isn't it?
Yes. So what I do is I curate pieces from all over the globe, and I host pop-up shops between Paris, New York, and Chicago. That's one leg of the business, and the other leg is based off of service. So what I do is I help women curate their wardrobe to perfection, and that means going through what they already own, introducing vintage, and then also what we can't find vintage, some off-the-rack items.
And where do you find your vintage clothes? Are you going into the stores I just mentioned or no?
No, I go everywhere because I have a showroom in Winnetka, and it's an aging community. Sometimes I will buy outright from community members. Sometimes it's brought to me. I call myself the vintage whisperer. So if I say it, it will come. I'm just kidding. But no, I also partner with a lot of nonprofits as well. So I'm not only helping raise money for a nonprofit, but I'm also getting some killer inventory.
As you try and find interesting pieces, do they speak to you and you go, I know what outfit that's going to be a part of? Or sometimes are you buying things that they just pique your interest in some way, but you don't know what the final look will be?
So both. I think it's really important as a curator to watch for mainstream trends because right now what you're seeing in fashion is a regurgitation of the past. So what better way to support a trend by looking at the blueprint? So that could be going back a few creative directors, knowing what's in style, looking at Pinterest, traveling to places like New York and Paris and just people watching and saying, okay, I'm going to get ahead of the curve. And right now, women are wearing men's blazers, size 46. They're wearing them oversized, over dresses. So that's what I'm going to bring back to the Midwest so that my clients too can remain cutting edge. And so that I also separate myself from other vintage curators. So I don't just collect vintage, I collect just things that are cool.
Are there a lot of vintage curators? Do you have a lot of competition out there?
I don't think of it as competition. I think people do. I think there's a lot of people who collect, and what I do think is missing is the level of service. I do have a long luxury background, so I think the power of service is what makes me stand alone. Usually, when you see a vintage curator, they're putting things on a rack, and you kind of have to have that discerning eye to see if something's cool. And if you purchase it, sometimes you bring it home and you're like, I don't even know why I bought this. I don't know what to even to wear it with.
Right.
That's where I come in. So I will escort my clients to Oak Street, and let's say we'll be in a high profile store. I'll also bring my vintage curation with me so that
really?
they can
There?
see. Well, when they're spending X, they're just like, we don't care if they buy a jacket from Kameo Vintage and everything else is coming from, a high potential store. But they are able to see in real time the difference of quality.
And this was the Kameo Vintage was a pandemic baby. In
Yes,
a way.
it was.
Like so many businesses. Dan, how many businesses have we had on that are pandemic babies, side hustles turn main hustles?
Yes.
Someone in the corporate sphere who
Yes.
doesn't want to be there anymore, or maybe is pushed and forced to take a leap. What was your story?
So I was the district recruiter for Coach. So I recruited both creative and in-store talent for the 8 stores in New York. I've always collected vintage. That was kind of like a side hustle, so to speak. And when I was laid off due to COVID, I completely leaned into myself. I felt that I wanted to invest not only in myself, but invest in my brand and all the creativity I brought into the Coach brand. If I had ownership of it, I felt like I could be $1 million business. So I took my severance and invested in myself and pulled my son out of Zoom school because I can't, no. Absolutely not. I said, algebra? That's not a thing.
That's not a thing. You were in New York at the time,
so
right?
What I did was I traveled by car during COVID and went to states that were opened and thrifted.
Wow.
And by the time I got back home, which is Chicago, I don't know if it was just like a nervous breakdown, anxiety, whatever but we'll go speed past that. I was like, I have so much stuff in my car. I think I'm going to do a pop-up. So I did a pop-up in a real estate office. And during that time, live selling wasn't a thing. But that's how I was making an income. I was clearing just wonderful numbers selling live. And I learned that I don't need to be in New York to be in fashion. I could absolutely be anywhere. So,
and we're glad to have you here.
Yes.
Let's put a pin on the conversation.
Yes.
We got to take a break.
Yes.
More with Melissa Carter. If you're heading out of the car and you're curious, CameoVintageStyle.com. That's
Yes.
Cameo with a K.
Yes.
Cameo with a K, VintageStyle.com. InnovationDuPage.org for more on what all Dan does. We'll continue our conversation with Melissa and Dan after this break. WGN, John Hansen here with our friends from Innovation DuPage. It's Dan Facchini, of course, the big guy over there. He runs the whole show. He's in charge. And Melissa Carter from Kameo Vintage, Cameo with a K. And we just spent that entire news break talking about what's in or what's not. Briefly, Melissa, what is in fashion right now? I feel like the 80s are back again, baby.
80s are it's a huge era that is in. Obviously, cheetah print. I personally do not know when to stop. I'll wear 5 prints and think I'm wearing all black. Mm-hmm. Brooches are like definitely a mainstay. Color blocking, so paring back like a magenta and red is super big. But fashion right now and style right now is all about living out loud. It's definitely not about being a minimalist. It's about wearing what you like, regardless of designer, of era, or anything. So those are the prompts we get from like New York Fashion Week, but you should just style yourself out loud.
Shoulder pads?
Yes.
And women's blazers?
Absolutely.
Or, excuse me, men's blazers
Yes.
that women wear?
Yes. Women wearing menswear is super big. Mm-hmm. Very, very big. And it's actually more comfortable. Woman gets a men's blazer. We get all these functional pockets. We get a woman's blazer and it's just tight and it hurts.
I love pockets. I love that. It's just amazing the cycle of fashion that you have captured and you're on top of. And vintage is so in right now. But again, what you're doing at your shop in Winnetka and with clients individually is not just saying, here, walk around, look for things. You are curating and doing that for people. And that is a real value. And that saves people money in the long run, I feel like.
It does. I think when a stylist comes to your home and says, okay, let's go shopping, Or if you say, I don't need a stylist, you end up buying things you already own because you don't have someone pushing you out of your element. And how I start is, let's see what you already own. Let's remove the things that do not fit you or do not serve your lifestyle of today. Let's enter in some vintage garments and let's fill the rest of the gaps with something off the rack.
You mentioned brooches. We have a lot of listeners who
Yes.
have old clothes, right?
Yes.
And are thinking, well, maybe I've got something here.
Yes.
Can they reach out to Kameo Vintage?
Absolutely. So cameovintagestyle.com. You'll see on my website my email, which is cameovintage@gmail. And what I do is I tell people to send pictures because no one wants to lug something to you just to find out that it doesn't work. And how I curate, I don't care if it's designer. I don't care if it's just like old Forever 21. If I see that it's deserving of a second life, I will buy it outright.
Accessories, jewelry too, everything?
Yes, I prefer unsigned. I'm not a gemologist. We don't sell Rolexes. It's
Right.
like that trashy 80s jewelry that you would see in Dynasty is what I'm interested in.
Well, I'm sure a lot of our listeners have that
Yes.
stuff, right? And
Most people do.
But that's Cameo with a K, cameovintagestyle.com. You went through the owner to CEO program at Innovation DuPage. What did
Yes.
that mean for you?
You know, it really meant a lot. I mean, it taught me how to look at my business differently. I think as a creative, I've learned that creatives aren't business owners and business owners aren't creatives. But when you're an entrepreneur, you do need that layer of business. And you have to. And they taught me how to streamline and to think about things and to look at financials. Also, they have an incredible network of people who you're basically sharing your growing pains. And regardless of what business you're in, we all have the same growing pains. So that was really great to not only see, but also observe how people kind of storm through it. So right now, my accountant is from also Innovation of DuPage because I believed in her brand and I wanted to help her scale. And
I love that.
now she's my accountant.
CameoVintageStyle.com if they're interested in your services or if they've got old brooches or things that they want to show off. Cameo with a K. Melissa, it was great to meet you.
Yes, you too. Thanks for having me.
Dan, got about 30 seconds left. I mean, she summed it up well there. It's a place where people can meet each other and learn from each other.
Yeah, and 68% of our members are women and or minority-owned businesses. And so this is a great example of both.
Yeah, I'm a twofer. I'm
a
black
twofer.
and a woman.
There you go. Yeah, so it's a great composite of companies coming to us and getting resources.
You guys do great things. I'll see you next Thursday at the summit. This will be a lot of fun. And innovationdupage.org is where people can go to learn more, right, Dan?
Yep.
Dan, you did great work as always today. Melissa, again, it was great to meet you.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Absolutely.